This beautiful Ocala property was reduced by $30,000, and I'm here to give you the home tour today. But first, if you need properties sent directly to you via email or text, like the ones behind me, beautiful homes like this, I got a VIP list in the description. Fill out the VIP list. There's also a QR code somewhere on the screen where it'll take you right to my website. And I think the first or second link is the actual VIP list. So if you want properties sent directly to you, and you may not be ready, you might be 6 months out, a year out, 2 years out, 5, 10 years out, and you just want to see these pretty homes in your email, just go on the VIP list, fill it out, and I'll send properties directly to you. And if you're a first-time home buyer or you haven't bought a home in a while and you want kind of like a refresher, I'm doing a first-time home buyer seminar, or we could just call it the home buyer seminar, even if you're not a first-time. Either way, the QR code is going to give you access to that as well. On my website, you're going to see the QR code. On the QR code to the website, you're going to see my pre-approval link, the VIP link, the upcoming webinar, all sorts of valuable resources on that website. So if you want like a refresher on the home buying process, or it's your first time, you'll be able to hop on a Zoom call with me and a few other people, and we're able to bounce ideas off each other, talk about programs. You'll be in a group setting potentially where you'll see what questions some other people might have that you haven't thought of yet. Super cool. You don't have to turn your cameras on if you don't want to. I'll have my camera on so you can kind of see me, but that's going to be down in the description. The first time home buyer webinar. It's happening on a Thursday. And if you're new here, my name is Joe Denny. I'm a Florida realtor and mortgage broker, originally from the Bronx, New York. I've been doing this for 6 to 7 years. The mortgage side, 1 to 2 years now. I have several teams. We have a mortgage team. We have a real estate team. So we help people, families, all throughout the entire state of Florida. We also have connections in New York City. If you're looking to make a move out there, hit me up as well. But on this channel, we're going through all these new communities. Today we are in Marion Oaks side of Ocala. We go all around looking at all these awesome deals, mainly new construction deals, sometimes resale homes as well. So if you've been looking for a home in Ocala or anywhere in Florida, consider this channel to be a resource for you. I got different playlists where you can kind of see the different cities, and I'm putting videos in there. But if there's a city that you don't see and you want to see some content there, just drop it down in the comments below, and I'll make it my mission to kind of go to that city and see if I can find some new construction over there to get videos for you. Let's start right in the front. So you have this nice driveway right over here. You're not quite on the corner. That's the corner house over there. But look at the size of this lot, where you can kind of see the space between those two houses there. So if you don't like being too close to your neighbor, some pretty good space in between those two houses there. And you kind of got a similar situation on the other side as well. But definitely have some curb appeal with this property. You got some character. You got some stonework in the front. You got these awesome lights. I think they're called sconces. So you got these nice little light fixtures where at night it'll probably look really nice on these stone fixtures here. Definitely not a cookie cutter design. So they did some nice little upgrades to the outside of this house. Then you got that super tall door right over there. And what's really cool about this entrance is you kind of have like a side storage right over here. I'm assuming it's for like packages. Maybe we can call this the Amazon room or something. Not sure what you could really fit in there, but it has to be for something like packages maybe. So if you get a lot of Amazon packages, this might be the house for you. And it's actually available. So I wanted to also talk about where we're at. So we're in Marion Oaks. There's different sections to Ocala. You got the Marion Oaks, Silver Spring Shores. You got the Rainbow Park, you got the Rolling Hills, you got the Liberty Triangle, you got the Fort King District, you got the downtown area over there. So a lot of different sections to the Ocala area. So we're in the Marion Oaks section. This is a very popular area for those quarter acre, half acre, third of an acre lots. while still being in an affordable price in the low 300s to the high 200s. This home here actually is in the high 200s. It had a $30,000 price drop. And what I'll do at the end of the video, or towards the end, I'll put together the actual numbers to kind of go over them. But we are about an hour and a half away from Orlando. I just drove from Orlando, so with a little bit of traffic, it was hour 45. 20 to 30 minutes from here, you're gonna have access to like the downtown area. You're gonna have State Road 200, so Market Street at Heathbrook. There's gonna be 2 different movie theaters right around there: the Target, the Best Buy, the Walmart. Tons of stores, dining, entertainment. So all the things that people would like to look for in areas, you're like 20 minutes away. So you're kind of like in this outskirt type area, but not too far out. And I service all of Central Florida, well, all of Florida. And a lot of my buyers that wouldn't move to like Point Siena are starting to move out here, because they'll say things like, oh, Point Siena is kind of rural. There's great prices out there, but there's not much to do over there. Well, you can come out here to Ocala and you can have even better prices and a lot more to do within a 20, 30-minute radius. Whereas in Point Siena, sometimes the traffic is a little bit more, so you might take a little bit longer to get places. Now let's go in the house. We're gonna see a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1525 square feet, brand new construction, and with a $30,000 reduced price. So let's step right in. So walk in, first and foremost, you're not gonna have any carpet, which is a major plus. I actually got a comment I read this morning about the fact that I'm finding these gems with no carpet, because a lot of the builders go cheap and they put carpet. This one has no carpet. Massive island there. You're gonna have their lanai out here covered, but not screened in. So would you say covered? Covered up top, not screened in though. 2 bedrooms over here, 1 primary bedroom over here, and wait till you guys see this pantry. It's one of my favorite parts of this home, plus this beautiful kitchen. You can kind of see that you have this nice size island over here. By the way, I'm sucking my stomach in because this is not a very good camera angle. I don't have nobody to follow me around, so I gotta like mount the camera in different spaces. So if you hear me breathing hard, it's because of that. You can kind of fit some seats over here with kind of like this oversized countertop here. You have these awesome cabinets, beautiful light fixtures over here. What do you guys think about this kitchen? I think it's pretty nice, pretty modern, pretty simple. I think it's an awesome kitchen. Let's head to the first 2 rooms that are gonna be on this side of the house, and you're gonna have a bathroom right over here as well. All right, so bedroom number 1. You can kind of see the front of the house from this one. Got a nice sized room. Got the closet tucked away over there. I probably would have liked maybe some ceiling fans in here. That's the only thing I kind of would have liked in here. That would have been pretty awesome. Then you got bedroom number 2. Feels smaller. Not sure if it is, but it feels smaller. Then you have the closet right over here. And then you got your bathroom number 1. You got your sink right over here. I'm used to seeing normally like a light fixture right on top of the mirror. But with this one, it's all the way up there. This one has a tub. It's pretty cool. Got a tub in this one. And then we're back in the main areas. As far as like sewage and water goes out here, there's a combination of like septic and well water and or public water. This house itself is on public water and septic. So some of the benefits of like not having the well in this situation is you might not need like an extra filter because the well water is sometimes a little more rough. But there are some benefits as well to having the well water and not having like a water bill. So there's pros and cons. You got to outweigh. There's pros and cons to figure out if do I want well, do I want public, and different clients have like different opinions on why each is better. So it's always interesting to hear what the client's preferences are. But whatever you're looking for, I'll help you find it. Now we're back in your kitchen area. So you got this little open space right over here. So you can put some seating right over here. tucked away in the corner. Beautiful floor plan. So right over here, you have all this counter space also. You can put so many things on the counter, and you even have more counter space over here as well. So if you have like an air fryer or a Keurig, all sorts of like appliances and everything, you can put them all there. Laundry room right over here. And then you have this very nice sized pantry. So you can kind of see, you can fit all the snacks in there. And you got this pocket door right there that's gonna like close that off. All right, you got your standard 2-car garage. It actually feels a little wider in here. Not sure if you can pick it up on the camera, but it feels like a little bit wider in here than the other garages I've been in today. And we're back in the house. All right, so right over here, we're gonna see your primary bedroom. And then we'll take a look outside. All right, we're in your primary. Not the biggest closet, I would say, but I mean, I can make it work. Nice size closet there. The 2 windows that are facing the backyard of the home. And then you got your bathroom over here. You got your dual sink vanity. Again, no light fixtures above the mirrors. Interesting. All right, so you got your shower over there. Pretty simple. Now let's go out here so we can kind of see what we're working with this backyard. All right, so you can kind of see where those flags are, where the property line stops. So that little shed there isn't part of this property. You can kind of see that also it's a mixture of like older and newer homes. So they have what's called spot lots, where they find vacant pieces of land throughout different areas over here, and they buy the land obviously from homeowners or whoever owns these pieces of land, and they build properties around it. So if you were looking for like a brand new community, then I also have access to those if you want. But some of these properties here, which have sometimes better deals, are scattered lots throughout different parts of Marion Oaks. And you'll kind of be able to see like an older home like that, another older home over there, a new one right there, new one over there across the street, right next to an older one. And when I say older, I don't mean like super old. It could be like probably like 5-10 years old. That one next to us doesn't look like it's new construction. And then you have this one here, brand new construction. So you'll have a combination of like new homes and not new homes scattered throughout the area. We're about to go to the home studio in a bit, and we'll talk about the numbers, talk about what down payments look like, potential closing costs, monthly payments, and talk about the home buying process as well. I'm also going to get the drone in the air to get some aerial views. But if you've made it this far into the video, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, let me know where you want to see future videos from. So I want to like go to different cities, but I'd rather go there if someone's actually looking there. I don't want to just randomly go there if I don't have anybody looking there yet. So if you're looking in certain cities that I haven't done videos on, let me know in the comments, and I'll just make it my mission to go to some of those cities in Florida within like a 1 to 2 hour driving distance from Orlando. If it's further out, I'll go. Just give me more time to do that. But yeah, follow me on Instagram, TikTok as well, because we're gonna have a lot of behind the scenes things happening on the social medias, like quick little glimpses at properties that we might not do full home tours on, but you might like it, and I might go back and do a home tour if you like it. Like we just went to a $3 million house the other day, beautiful home, And I already have people saying, oh my God, the home's beautiful, do a home tour. So I might go back and do a home tour on that one. We have another one, like an $800,000 listing as well. And we got a winter garden home that we're gonna visit pretty soon, $800,000 as well. So we have variety of ranges on this channel, anywhere from like brand new construction for like 200K to $3 million homes as well. So yep, stay tuned. Drone's about to go up in the air and we're about to make it back to the home studio in a few. So I'll see you in a bit. All right, so we're gonna talk about what the numbers look like on this property and a little bit about the home buying process. So I wanted to kind of do it from the home studio. That way, if anybody wants to show the house, they can kind of go do it. And we're not there in the kitchen like we normally are trying to rush through this part here. So I wanted to kind of put the iPad here on the screen on this side. So we're in Ocala, 34473, and we're checking out what those numbers look like. So this is a 3-2, right? 1525 square feet, so just under 1,600 square feet, brand new 2025. Now, what I did was, there's many different ways to estimate taxes, but currently right now, the taxes are only on the land, the dirt. Just before the structure was put there, the taxes are currently on the dirt. Now, what happens is a lot of people get sticker shock later on because what has to happen is a recalibration, a rebalancing, a reassessment. In about a few months to a year, the actual property taxes are gonna be corrected. Most people are saying, oh no, they went up. No, they just went to what they're supposed to be. And you were miseducated by the realtors, lenders, whoever was involved in your process. But not with my buyers, because they're educated up front on this situation, so they don't have to get that sticker shock later on. And when you're doing like mortgages or cash offers or whatever, on the mortgage side, you can kind of help, you know, the lenders can kind of determine what they should be escrowing every month to be paid. And if they escrow the incorrect amount and they escrow the lower amount, you're gonna have a beautiful payment for a year. But then in a year, the payment's gonna not only go up because it corrected the tax situation, but then you have like a gap from before that you also have to pay, so it went up even higher. So now for the next year, your bill's even higher than it was supposed to be, and then you're on the market trying to sell your house, which we do not want that, because typically appreciation of the properties takes about like 3 to 5 years for you to really get a good return. There are some markets that do turn around and get some good returns, but overall real estate appreciates kind of slowly, 3 to 5% per year. So when it comes to property taxes, I just went to the property appraisers website, which all these counties have tax collector and appraiser websites, and you can actually put like a potential purchase price, what you're planning to do with it, like a homestead or not, and it'll give you a number. So when I did that, it said that it could be possibly 1.45%. This does not include any HOA or CDD. This property itself does not have an HOA or CDD, but I just wanted to put that out there when I'm doing these estimates. I'm not counting anything like HOA or CDD. We're estimating about 4% for closing costs, which can vary depending on your situation. On a 30-year mortgage, this video is being filmed in July of 2025, so the rates change every day. Some people don't know that. The actual interest rate changes like every day when the market refreshes. So this is based on today's rate on the day that it is today. So if we talked about a 3.5% down payment, one of the most popular loans is the FHA loan. So minimal down is like 3.5%. If in this scenario, the rates are like 6.44%, this puts your PITI at 2240. So you'll be in the low to mid 2000s as far as the principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Those are all the things that make up a mortgage: principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Down payment, 3.5% on the purchase price, which by the way, this property is $289,900. So you're right at $290. Down payment is gonna be around $10,147 with closing costs being, you know, like an estimate at 4%, you'd be like right under $12,000. Total cash to close is gonna be around $22,000. What's interesting is you can actually ask the seller to help you with some of that with something that we call concessions. So concessions. You can ask for concessions, and depending on the loan that you're going with, there's limits on how much concessions you can ask for. So like you can ask for anywhere between like 2 to 6%. Now I don't know that the seller is gonna give you 6% of their purchase price, because they also have to pay commissions, closing costs, lien search, prorated taxes. They're gonna pay for your owner's insurance. The owners do have to pay literally like anywhere between 5 to 8% of the purchase price in just fees to sell that house. But doesn't mean I'm not gonna try to get you a good deal. As far as like a VA loan, 0% down, 100% financing, rate's gonna be around 5.99%. You're gonna have potentially estimate a monthly payment in the mid 2000. It looks a little higher, which it is, because there's no money being put down. So the actual loan amount is higher on a VA than it would be on an FHA or conventional, because monies were being put down on those loans. So on those purchase prices, which means the loans were gonna be lower. So down payment 0%, still have some closing costs, but we can still ask for seller concessions to kind of get the seller to help you. So the total cash to close could be a little under 12,000. So as low as possibly 1,000 to possibly as high as $12,000 there. Conventional loans have several options. You have a 5%, you have a 10%, you have a 20%, but at 5%, the payments are floating around the mid 2000s. You'd be like around 2,400, with the down payment being just under 15K, 12K there, and then you'd be like around $27,000 cash to close total, and whatever concessions we can get will come off of that. Now, if you're worried about the rate itself, a lot of people don't know this, but we can actually manipulate the rate by paying for what's called points, which equals something called a buy down. So we can get the seller to do that. You can possibly pay more if you would like to. There's different ways to kind of get the interest rate more in your favor, depending on what scenario you wanted to go with. Now, 20% down as a primary residence, the rates are going to be better than 20% down as an investment property. So assuming a 6.77, your monthly payment floats around low 2000s. Down payment's going to be right around 58K, 12K here. You're floating around $70,000 or more with a 20% down scenario. You know, people that do those scenarios, you know, it's investors, they don't want to pay the mortgage insurance. So if you have the cash, put it up. That'd be a good way to do that there. As far as rents go, depending on, you know, the seasons and what's going on and how you stage your property or photos or whatever, how attractive you can make it, you probably get between $2,300 to $2,900, which is what the market's looking like over there right now, depending on the location and everything. So if you were to get a mortgage around 21 and you get like a $2,400 tenant, which would be awesome, then you might be cash flowing there in a good situation there. Now, I wanted to kind of go over what like the home buying process looks like. Now, if you've joined any of my first time home buyer webinars, I kind of go over this presentation to kind of guide you through what the journey looks like, to kind of like work with me. And if any part of this you want to change, I can just customize it for you, obviously. So we want to talk about a few things. So the first thing is, me being a licensed mortgage loan originator, I work with a mortgage broker. With one credit pull, we're able to shop 61 different lenders. Now, to actually give you the pre-approval, there has to be a hard pull. But to start the conversation, we could do a soft pull. So if you just wanted to start the conversation because you're 6 months out, 1 year out, you're like 2 years out, and you kind of wanted to see, my mortgage ready? I will do the work. A lot of other lenders will not do the work of doing all that, you know, scrubbing through documents and looking at credit for you until you're ready, but I will. I'll put a game plan together. I'll figure out in today's market with today's rates and everything, what it could cost out of pocket, cash to close, and what the monthly payment could potentially be for the property you're looking for, even if you're not trying to buy it today. And then I'll be able to also see if anything would stop you possibly from not qualifying for a mortgage, and then we kind of fix that. And if we need to find money, there's so many down payment programs out there. We just did one recently where the total cash to close for a buyer is going to be $1,000 at closing, and a different one where they're going to be at like $1,500 out of pocket to get into their home, which is crazy. Now, it's not free money, you know. What happens is you got to pay it back. Some of them are forgivable, but in some of these scenarios, they have higher interest rates. So the monthly payment could be higher. So it's like you got to pick your battles. Do you want to keep all your money in your pocket, or do you want the lower payment? And I'm able to offer you both scenarios. So, you know, you get to decide which one you want to go with. And we're able to close them in just as fast a time as a regular loan, where in the past, I've seen other lenders take longer to do like down payment programs, where now it's like closing at the same time, 3 to 4 weeks. So as far as like what happens when you start working with a realtor, me, or whoever you want to work with, in Florida, there's different agreements that you have to kind of contractually agree to. Either an exclusive buyer broker agreement, which can be for like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, a year, or you can just have a showing agreement where you're saying, hey, I want you to just show me a few houses and see how it goes. With some clients, I just put a showing agreement together where I'm like, hey, let's just meet and see if you like how I work. And then boom, if you like it, we'll do an exclusive buyer broker agreement. And with other clients that have been following the journey and follow the YouTube, they're like, no, let's go straight to the 6-month one. You're the realtor, you're the person I want to help. I don't want to shop around or anything. You get to decide which document you want to sign. In both scenarios, I don't ask for any compensation. I like charging the sellers to pay me commission to help you to get the house. And then we're gonna talk about certain buyer protections in there and talk about personal guidance in there. The actual search experience is digital first, where I set you up on the website with the criteria that you're looking for, and then you're able to go on the website and navigate around, and you can favorite properties, so I can kind of see which ones you like. And on your side, you can see all your favorite homes, and on my side, I can see your favorite homes. So when it's time to finally meet, I like to usually do at least 5 to 10 houses a day. When it gets past 10 houses, I start seeing like the fatigue, and people start forgetting what was what. So I think the sweet spot is like 5 to 10 a day. And that's pretty much what we like to do. So we collaborate on the website that I have to kind of like send you properties, you favorite the ones you like, and I go back in and I schedule the showings for those properties. And then what happens is, once we find a property that we like, we got to figure out the offer, the earnest money deposit, as well as protective clauses, which can also be known as contingencies. So when you're writing an offer, you get to determine the terms, the rate, the price, whatever you want to determine, whatever you're comfortable with. My job is to put it into writing. I can give you some advice, obviously, but I can't decide. I can't sell with my pockets. I can't decide what you should offer. I just got to put your thoughts into writing. Part of the offer is the earnest money deposit. Once the offer gets accepted, a percentage is due within 72 hours to the title company to start the process of doing the paperwork and everything. But no money is sent to me or to the seller. It goes to a title company. They kind of facilitate the transaction as a third party. And then we have a bunch of contingencies that we add. So if you're financing, I like to add inspection contingencies, appraisal contingencies, financing contingencies. If you have a sale of your home, those type of contingencies. I like to make the offer very contingency heavy, which the sellers don't like, but I'm on your side. So I want to make sure that we get you like a good deal and your deposits are protected. The worst they can do is say no or counter back and remove some of the contingencies. After your offer is accepted, whether it's a new construction or resale home, I 100% recommend getting a home inspection. I've had horror stories where I've heard of horror stories. People skip the inspection, and then 4 months later, they're calling me like, this is wrong. And I'm like, you skipped the inspection. And that was when I was new, like 5-6 years ago, under a different broker. I'm like 2 different brokers in now. And even with these brand new construction homes, they're man-made. So there could be issues. There could be things that you're not seeing on the roof, the HVAC, plumbing, electrical. So I recommend put aside $300 to $500 and get that home inspection as well, just to make sure. And then after the home inspector does their job of verifying the condition of the property within like weeks 1 to 2, in like weeks 2 to 3, a different inspector goes out there to inspect the value of the home. It's called an appraisal. So they're gonna determine what the value of the home is. Nobody's really gonna know, not even a report that they give you is gonna tell you exactly what your home is worth forever, because it's like it's a temporary opinion of value at that moment. The comparables could have changed, the sales could have changed, the market could have changed. So many different things could change in a week to a month. So their job is to figure out in that moment, does this value on this contract, is there a value that matches what the number is on this contract? That's their job. They have a very hard job. So they have to sometimes go to the property, do a drive-by, do a bunch of online analysis. Sometimes they call the other agents that have sold properties recently just to see what offers they've, how that process went, or they'll call pending agents also and say, hey, your listing's pending, what did you accept? So they're trying their best to do their job to determine the value of this home. Then if you're doing a mortgage, what's gonna happen is there's a bunch of documents needed. It all gets submitted to an underwriter, and then once everything's good to go, they issue what's called a clear to close. It is super frustrating. I apologize in advance that if you're doing a mortgage, that they're gonna ask for a lot of documents. So we like to ask for a lot of them up front to kind of soften the blow later on, so you're not too stressed out with all the other documents that they ask. Once we make it to closing, you're gonna sign the final paperwork, send the rest of the money, and celebrate. It's time to close. You just got your home, your first home or your next home. As far as like in Florida, some of the key things are homestead exemption. So look out for that. The title company usually gives you information on that, but you want to do that in case you're buying a primary residence, because you get a small tax break plus added protection to the property. You want to look into HOA and CDD fees. If you're buying a home in an HOA or CDD, get more information on that. Because CDDs, they're not all bad. Usually they're designed to like money that's taken out to build some sort of infrastructure or amenities or different. So sometimes the communities with the CDDs have the best amenities out there, and that's kind of what's paying for it. So it's not all bad. But if you want like, you don't want any of the amenities, none of that, then stay away from HOA and CDD. And then Florida has a lot of new construction as well. But that pretty much covers like what that process looks like to like the numbers of the property on this one, and sort of like the home buying process as well. Let me know your thoughts if you have any questions on that as well, or reach out to me directly.